Hello, guys. Welcome to the third edition of 1000%. I am Moiz, and unfortunately, today, Devin is not here with us, but she's here with us in our thoughts and minds and prayers. And we will see her very soon in the next episode. But I'm Moiz, and today I'm joined with two very special guests I have here. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, y'all. I'm Isabella. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Lana. Maybe you know me already because I've been here before,
Lana is also a regular here. She has her own podcast.
And Lana is also an egomaniac, obviously.
Well, at least the self-awareness is there.
What she said.
But today's going to be a very, very special episode. We're going to be talking about everything from our lives to ballroom in Europe, history, origins, cultural impacts, and more. And I have two very special guests who will be introducing themselves today. Legends. No.
Baby, not yet.
Not yet, but on the way there. But but two very close people to me who have introduced me to the ballroom scene, and they also let's do a plug. They do classes every Sunday. For voguing classes every Sunday. So I'm going to give it over to you guys to introduce yourselves. Who are you? What do you do? Who are you in Prague and your connection to ballroom?
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So, yes, I'm Isabella. I'm 24 years old and I'm a student. I study my master's. Hopefully, I'll be finishing this year. I'm currently studying for my what's it called? Finals, yeah.
Are you
That
though?
needs state exams.
I started. I started yesterday, actually. Yes, and also I'll be finishing my thesis, and yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
We love a doll in STEM. I just wanted to say that it's lonely here. Everyone's out there on the DJ decks, but this sister is with me in university, and I really appreciate it. Yes, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Isabella.
Well, luckily I'm not a student anymore. Hated that shit. I really didn't like it.
Hey there.
But why I work, I have couple of occupations. One is I work in IT, and the second one I work in Pangea in the NGO.
Yes.
And I do event coordination there. So there will be more shout outs to different events upcoming later this month. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay till the very end because there will be some announcements.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, and we both are also in ballroom.
Yes.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that. Like, how did you first experience ballroom? What is ballroom? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So ballroom is a space that was created by Black trans women in Harlem in the 60s, and we'll talk about more about the history later. And for me, I kind of found out about it like through internet, of course. You know, nowadays you find everything on the internet.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically like the clips from the ballroom scene kind of started popping up because like on YouTube you can actually find a lot about ballroom and all the clips and the clips from the balls and like different interviews and stuff. So I kind of found out about it through the internet, and my kind of first connection was thanks to that. And then I was kind of like looking around if there are any classes in Prague, and basically that's how I kind of met Lana, because her and Ollie, they were doing these voguing classes. And then the rest is history. I started going to balls, traveling all over Europe, and attending multiple workshops from other known people in ballroom. yeah, so that's how I kind of started my
Period.
ballroom journey. Yeah.
I have a quite similar
Mhm.
situation because I also stumbled upon, well, first of all, I stumbled upon voguing. So I didn't know really about ballroom first. So, but I saw voguing that it exists, and I was really
Uh-huh.
amazed by the hands movements. I was like, wow, because I'm dancing my entire life.
Yes.
So like since like the childhood,
Wow.
I've been doing
Mhm.
like ballroom dancing, other
Mhm.
ballroom.
Yeah.
Same actually.
Yes.
Yes. The
So,
the actual.
so I was not a stranger to dancing. I was like, listen, I need to learn how to do this stuff because it looks really, really amazing. I remember I found like also some clips where people were doing voguing, but it wasn't from the balls. It wasn't like
Yeah.
from like specifically ballroom events, but it were just like people. I guess also trying voguing or like doing some choreos, and I remember slowing the video down like 3 times to actually
Yeah.
understand what is happening with the hands
Right.
because I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
But then later, I started also like searching for some classes or for a community or for something voguing related. First, it was voguing related, and I found this is how I met Ollie, who is my voguing my ballroom mother.
Okay.
And and I started participating. I learned, and then I also started traveling. I learned more about ballroom, about what is it actually about, who's
Yeah.
it for, why was it created, and all the historical moments and aspects. And yeah, and then I think that was the moment when I actually fell in love with it. Because
Wow.
voguing, yes, it's beautiful, it's amazing, but I feel like the moment when I learned about like the ballroom part of it, all the underlying things that are not like visible, that are not like on stage.
Like the community.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is when I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
so much deeper than I thought.
Yeah, more than
That could ever-
dancing. Yeah.
exactly.
More than just dancing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. No, would you like to tell us like a little bit about your beginnings in life as a baby to now? How has your life experience been? Because we always like to give our listeners a little experience about your life, a little, a little snippet into it because they haven't been with us. They don't know where we come from. So we want to know a little bit like where you're from, who you are, how you see yourself.
What happened?
How did you end up here, girl? What fucking ditch did you fall into that you're here on this seat right now?
The choice has been made.
Choices were made.
So for me, I was born in like a small village, and yeah, basically, I was attending like this like kindergarten, of course, and I remember like from like really young age, I was like always like envious of the girls.
Yeah.
Like I was always like, damn, like they can wear like all these cute dresses and these cute skirts, and they can have long hair and everything, So, and I also remember like at home, I was actually like, because my mother and my grandmother, like they would have these like children's skirts and stuff, and like the Barbies and stuff, and they would actually let me play with it, which was like really
Cute,
nice, They didn't judge it like, what's wrong or whatever. And I remember like wearing the skirts and everything, and I felt like really good, and it was like really nice. So I'm glad that they didn't like really push me like away from that. But then like as I was growing up, I was kind of like, realizing like what the world is, So I kind of like blocked this experiences like from my head.
This feminine side.
Yes. And then when I started going to like the primary school and stuff, I was just like, it was fine. But then, as you grow up, you kind of start learning more about yourself and stuff. And, like start experiencing you having maybe a different orientation and stuff, and it was like really difficult for me to accept that fact. And also like, this country is like, it's not as bad as you think to be a queer person when it comes to like Eastern Europe, in my opinion. But, there's still some things that you experience like homophobia and like being ashamed of yourself or whatever. So when I started like having these feelings, it was really difficult for me to like process and understand and really like accept myself at first, because even then at home I would hear like, if there was something on the TV or something, your parents would be like, oh, like what is this, like they're doing this for attention or something. And then you kind of like, as a child, you kind of, when you hear these things, it's like really difficult to then accept the fact that you may be different.
Yeah.
So it took me some time to really like, okay, you're attracted to this or whatever, then like actually come out to my parents and like people around me, it was like really difficult steps, but really important. And once I did that, it was fab. Like I felt really liberated and stuff.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like I'm also, it's interesting because I think I'm still on the path of like discovering myself.
Yeah, of course. All of us,
I like started like having again like different feelings and thoughts about me, my gender or whatever, so I'm still on my journey of discovering it.
Super valid.
So yeah, that's how I am, I guess. Yes.
Do you like labels? Like, do you like to put a label on yourself, or you're like more like, we'll see? Because like,
I don't know. I just always said that like I'm a human.
Period.
First, and what comes after is like, I really don't care about the labels. I feel like so
overrated.
Yes, I'm a human being.
Period. As you can see.
Yes.
A beautiful, fantastic one at that. Thank you, Lana. That was beautiful. That was so fun. Tell us a little bit. Sorry. I was looking at this bitch, but thank you, Isabella.
Thank you.
Bellissimo. You are very beautiful. It was a great introduction. Lana, it's your turn.
I'll try to match the introduction. Well, you want to know a little bit about my growing up, my timeline?
Yes.
Right.
Like, tell us a little bit.
So I was born and I grew up in Ukraine.
Okay.
In a city. So I'm a city girl.
Hey, city girl.
Yes, even though it wasn't like a big city. Even though if you ask a Czech person whether like a city of 300k citizens is small, probably not.
No.
But I guess for like Ukraine, because Ukraine is huge.
Yeah,
so
true.
It wasn't like the biggest city, and it was also industrial one. So nothing much was really happening there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean. When I was growing up, I have always been a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
But I also was like, my parents made me super busy because I was dancing and going to like language courses and learning all the time. So I didn't really have much free time to myself.
Yeah.
To even like think about myself or like, I wasn't really, for the longest time, I couldn't like stay alone with my own thoughts because of how busy I had to be, I guess. You know what I mean?
Overachiever, like almost.
In a sense, yes. I wanted to also succeed in all those things that I was doing, but then I never really was asking myself whether I wanted to do it, And so with all that being said, I was like quieter, so I wasn't like a loud kid or anything like that. And I also, I suppose I was a feminine kid or something because everybody knew I'm gay before I did. I don't know what gave it off. Probably everything.
I think we can see.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Coming from you like that.
Okay for her.
Listen, a lot has changed since then.
Right.
Maybe not that much after all.
Maybe your bullies will follow you now.
Being clocked since the year 1995.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I grew up in Ukraine, and then when I was 17, I finished the school, and I moved here to Prague to study university.
Yes.
And I studied the biochemistry in the Chemical Technology University. So she's a STEM girl as well, or at least used to be. This is what my diploma says. So you cannot argue with that. You can argue with me, but not with that. Not with my diploma. So yeah.
STEM lifestyle, baby, get into it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So is that okay?
That's good. No, that's really good. No, I think it's really important to hear and like share each other's like queer experiences like growing up, because like I don't want to get like soppy, but like I get really emotional like hearing how other people like navigated their queerness like growing up to today, you know, because we all have such unique different stories. And it's so beautiful that anytime I hear a queer person's story and it's still different to mine, but it's something I can still relate to and take in. And I'm like, I know how you had to navigate these circumstances, because I did the same thing. Even though we grew up in completely different parts of the world, it's such a beautiful thing being queer. It like really like makes it easy to have friends, like connect with people across the globe. Like it doesn't matter that I'm Indian and you're Czech and you're Ukrainian. Like we have a shared experience that we can immediately bond over. It is such a beautiful thing. That's why I love being queer. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. Oh my God.
Wait, I want to ask you back. How do you feel about labels?
How do I feel about labels? I think labels are a little bit overrated as well. Like the only label that I feel quite comfortable now is like calling myself a trans person, trans girl, you know, trans woman. Why not? But like women has like a really like deep connotation. I'm like, I don't even think I'm there yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a little girl. Like I don't know what I'm doing in life, you know, like woman seems like I got my shit together and I'm like, you know,
that is so true. I agree on that.
Right? Because it's
part,
like, yeah, exactly. Because it's like, again, it's, yes, I'm a trans person. Yes, I'm a trans woman by most traditional means, but also like I'm a queer person, right? So like when you call yourself a trans woman, you're kind of like affirming the gender binary that exists. And yes, like over the years I've realized that I am a very binary trans person. I would probably like to live my life as a woman, but at the same time, you know, being a woman sucks. Like
let's just say that.
Like, excuse me, like I've and that starts when you're being like perceived as a woman. It's like you can see how people's behavior to you changes, and especially if you have been perceived as something else before, you can really compare and contrast the difference. It's like I didn't realize how much I would notice it. Like, yes, I would hear it, but like at the same time, like little comments here and there and like little assumptions about your abilities, about your capacities in the hospital, for example. Like if there's trust me, if there's a male student with me, he will get picked to go in for the surgery before me 100%. And that is just like, it's just so icky. And I try my very best to like, you know, put myself out there and like go in like head first, like I'm ready, scrub me in, I'm ready to cut this person this open and
I'm ready to cut the bitch. Let me cut the bitch.
And sew her back up too. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I got it. No, yeah. So I it's just like really interesting to live your life as a woman. So yeah. So but yeah, I don't like labels that much either. That one is the only one, that trans girl. Like I like that. Like that feels like that's me. Yes. And sexuality, no. Like, let's just keep that.
Let's keep it in the box.
That's for you to explore it, baby.
OnlyFans coming? Listen.
But yeah, hey, why not? That's definitely keep it open. I agree. Yeah. Period. Okay, well, let's get to our topic, shall we?
Sure.
Let's go.
I want to know everything about ballroom, and I want to educate the people watching too, because ballroom is started in Harlem in New York, but now it's all over the world, and now it's in Europe, it's in South America, it's in many places. It's everywhere. Right now, to be honest. It's in a lot of I've seen it in Japan. I've seen it in India. Yes, I have. There's ballroom in India. Yes, it's kanti. This brings me to the point, because you can talk about the history of ballroom, but ballroom originated in a very specific context, right?
Yes.
Of black people and brown people in New York in the 80s, AIDS epidemics, and you know, the Ronald Reagan era. It's a very specific context, but this culture that was created mostly by black and brown people in the US, but it spread to everywhere. Tell us a little bit about that history, and also how does that affect that ballroom culture being exported to other contexts? For example, we don't really have that many black and brown people here in Czechia and Europe. And how how does that look like? How does ballroom look like in other parts of the world, specifically Czech Republic and Europe? Yeah. So let's talk about the history.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Let's talk history a little bit. So you're correct. It was started in, I believe it was like late 60s when the ballroom structure and the house structure which was created. It was like in a simultaneous time or like very similar time by Crystal and Lotte LaBeija, who also created, well, by creating a house of LaBeija, which was the first created ever house. They also created a house system, a house structure.
Wow.
Right? So it wasn't like a just a group of people. It wasn't like a gang. It wasn't a drag house. It was a ballroom house. It was something really different. And basically the reason why it all started was because of racism that was happening during pageants, during pageant competitions for drag queens and for trans girls as well. So basically there were these like pageant balls mostly in New York and like in I don't know quite honestly like in which area. Was it like also in Harlem or not, or did they found space there later? I don't know this one, but it was happening for some time, and until it was Crystal, right, who was participating in in another ball, and she was completely robbed of the win. She didn't win, and of course,
but deserved to.
Yes, of course, the white girl was picked over her, and Crystal just didn't have it, and she was tired and sick of this favoritism and racism over black and Latin girls. Yeah. So and she decided that enough is enough, and she's gonna have her own balls where this is not going to be an issue. Period. You know. So this is basically how it all started. Okay. Voguing then came a little bit later in like early 70s, and it was Paris Dupree who came up basically with this dance style, with the way she moved. She simply was inspired by the magazine poses in fashion magazines, and she was just she went to the club and was like dancing using those poses and doing it on beat, and this is how voguing was born basically. So yeah, and the epidemic of ballroom started happening all over the world. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what was like the first. Do you know what was like the first country outside of US that started having something at least related to ballroom? Because I want to say Japan. Yeah, I want to say Japan because of Kopi. Because of Kopi. Kopi Mizrahi. Yes, also House of Mizrahi. I think she was deemed icon very recently, and she's the first out of US deemed icon ever. Oh. And I think it was her who brought it to Japan, but also it started as a voguing. She was like, she wanted to be Vogue, or she found it on the internet or something. Oh, internet.
Yeah, I heard she was like texting with like Leomi and Deshawn and Andre on MySpace, I think. Yes. True. Yeah.
Oh, so this is like 2000s. Like this is like after internet.
You can actually see Kopi voguing like in really like old school clips actually. Wow, like she was one of those girls that would like walk women's performance, you know, and she was like specializing in old way and everything. Like yes, I feel like maybe Japan was one of the first countries, or
so
you know,
I would say Japan was the first one.
Maybe it's but like, you know, it's like an oral history. Like we don't have like a
a written one. Yeah, it's not documented.
You know? Someone is working on it or something.
Maybe that could be like a thesis,
so
right?
Far, it's not really there. Like it's not structured in any way.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, exactly. Perfect. So how does ballroom look like in Czechia and in Europe? Like, cause I know that you guys are traveling queens, that you'll be going to the balls here and there. So tell me what is a ball? Like, what does it consist of? Like, very quick, short description. And like, how does that look like in Europe, where we don't really have a lot of Black and brown people? And how do we appreciate ballroom culture without appropriating it?
Well, so a ball is basically a function where the ballroom people kind of meet up and compete. So there's like there needs to be a panel of judges. There needs to be an MC that's gonna be, guiding the whole night. There needs to be a DJ, a very important figure, because without the DJ, the ball couldn't happen. And then there's like the participants, of course, and also the houses and people affiliated to the houses. And there are also categories which the people participate in. There's the voguing part, but there's also like other fashion categories, realness categories, and many others. And basically, the ball kind of starts with an LSS, which stands for Legends, Statements, and Stars. And it's basically the MC is calling out people on the runway that are kind of known in the ballroom scene, that have been walking for some time, legends, icons, pioneers, to give them like their flowers and like show the people these are the girls like you want to look up to and that have been doing their thing for some time. Pave the way. So yeah, and that is kind of it. It's like a competition for...
So you walk and
every
you get
category
judged.
has a winner. There are battles. So until we have one winner for each category.
Yes.
Or it can be more, but it's details already.
You get either tens or you get chopped. If you get tens, you're qualified to continue to other rounds. If you get chopped, you're gonna try next time. It's not the end of the world, okay?
Okay. And this is very... So now we have this in Europe, right? Now we have ballroom in Europe, and a lot of the times so much of our culture is like derived from Black and brown culture in the United States, like from the way we speak to the way we act to the way we behave. Like we say things that we don't even realize we take it from them, like, so how is that? It's a very sensitive topic, right? Because at the end of the day, people here are white.
Exactly.
Let's just say that. No shit.
So, and we are borrowing and hopefully appreciating the culture that we speak. Every single thing. I've seen a lot of girls, in Prague, like do, a black scent even, or what is like the fine line of like appreciating ballroom culture without appropriating it, without making it like a mockery, and how do you walk that line?
Well, it really is a sensitive question for a reason, but it's also a very important topic to talk about and to raise, even though sometimes it can be uncomfortable. But those are the topics that usually are uncomfortable, that really have to be raised and spoken about. Right? So, in my opinion, ballroom is kind of for everybody, but also not for everybody. It's very... I don't know the word, like it's
inclusive and exclusive.
Exactly, like it's two things that are opposite at the same time. I'll explain why. In my opinion, it is inclusive in the sense that people who need ballroom for this or that reason, for example, because they are looking for the space where they could shine, they're looking for a spotlight, this could be a reason to join ballroom. Or there are people who really like to compete and have a talent that they want to nourish. That's very ballroom. Or then there are people who are trying to find a community, like-minded people, people who will understand them. Then there are people who might be looking for a family as well. So those are all valid reasons, and I believe that all of us may experience those needs, may have those needs. However, we always have to keep in mind that ballroom is a black space, and there is a lot of things that you need to think about and to come to a realization and to good terms with before you enter a black space, especially if you're a white person. So I think that the way to not appropriate but appreciate the culture that is not yours is, first of all, to educate yourself. And not just on ballroom wise, like it's obviously important. If you want to be part of ballroom, if you want to be part of the community, you should know the history, you should know the roots, the names. You really have to like pay homage to those people by at least thinking about them and giving your time, your energy to like learn about this. But this is not enough. I feel like, especially as a white person, you have to educate yourself also in a wider range of topics, like for example racism, how to be anti-racist, how
Yeah.
to fight it, how to
Yes.
advocate, how to amplify other people's voices, how to help raise awareness. And of course it all starts with educating yourself, and education is a long time a lifetime journey,
Process.
you know.
Yeah, you can
So
always learning new
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
so you have to know what you're doing, you have to know why are you doing it,
Yeah.
and you have to watch the space that you are taking.
Yeah.
That I feel like those are three key things on how to not be appropriative, but how to be appreciative of something.
Yeah, no, thank you for exploring that, because, obviously I can see ballroom being exported to different parts of the world because it's a safe space for queer people, right? Like you make houses and there's mothers for queer kids who have been like disowned, and that part of the culture I can definitely see here because that's the reality of a queer lifestyle. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are not really able to be exported. Like if you just start talking like with our accent, yeah, and then it's like that's your whole personality. Because what I've noticed, like recently, I saw things like that may have made me uncomfortable, where it's like white people in ballroom, and it's a great thing because you're queer and you're finding your space. But a lot of the time I have this energy and feeling that some of the people in the balls are just there because it's a fun little dancing competition, and they're not really seeing the
essence, and why,
the
and
depth
reason,
of it, and the community and the activism that's behind it. And I feel like when it's just like a bunch of like people just treating it like as a dancing like competition, I don't really like. Yeah, how do you feel about that? So it's a little uncomfortable.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of how it started to develop in almost maybe every European country before it became what it is now.
Right.
It was exported as a like dancing style,
Yeah.
and as a competition, because at a certain point in the very beginnings, and we are talking like 2010, 2009 and after, voguing started to be included as a dance style on different street dance competitions.
Wow.
And they would even bring ballroom people from US to judge and to give workshops. Like Leome has been to Europe for so many times, like years ago. Same goes for Dashon and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And it was really, it did start as let's compete, let's do some voguing, let's do some performance. So all the other aspects of ballroom, like realness, like fashion, like runway, like body, like sex, it was all ignored kind of. And it was voguing was separated and put it in the context of a dancing world.
Yeah, whatever was palatable was taken. And
exactly. Which is problematic. However, those were first steps. I feel like this is how it was sort of popularized. So people learned about it, that it even exists.
Yeah.
And they started taking more interest in it until someone was like, okay, we're ready to have a ball. Like, we don't need this dancing competition type of thing anymore, because we kind of have small community now. So let's do a ball. Let's do our own thing. And and now we have balls everywhere. Honestly, I haven't seen like voguing as a part of like some dancing competition in Europe. We're not talking about Czech Republic, unfortunately, but it still happens here. But in other countries in Europe, it doesn't really happen anymore.
Okay,
which is a good thing, because like ballroom community doesn't really need that. It was just like a messy step,
step in between,
yes,
just
exactly.
for the next real one.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's so good. And how do you feel in this community as queer people? Like where do you find your place here? Like, do you feel accepted? Do you feel safe? Yeah.
How do I find my space here? I don't know, 'cause like honestly, I never really been into like the I would say I haven't really been like in the queer scene in Prague. Like, firstly, like I feel like the first kind of
Can I rephrase my question?
Yes,
It's
yes.
just like in ballroom, how do you find your space? Like, do you feel like there's a space for you, and do you feel like there's space is being made for you, and do you feel like your work is being appreciated? Because of course, like ballroom is not also just for space and community, it's also competition, right?
Of course it is.
Exactly.
Of course it is.
Exactly. And so things can get pretty catty as well, I'm assuming. And you know, how do you balance that, like that cattiness of like being fierce and just owning everything, and also at the same time being a safe community for queer people? Like, how does that work?
For me, I feel like it's really important to really like go deep in your craft and really like practice and, you know, study like how it is actually done, like watch the clips. We have so much material we can learn from on the internet. Like y'all people, you know, can really like access this like for free. It's crazy. And you can really
you don't
do that.
appreciate it.
No.
Exactly.
It's so hard
Yeah.
for us.
And you can practice anywhere and really go deep and really learn how it is supposed to be done. And I feel like if you really practice, and you will get there. And also just be a nice person. Like, it's not like, of course, ballroom kind of invites
What the hell? Yeah.
invites like this type of attitude that like you always have to be shady, or you always have to like step on these hoes or something, you know, like of course on the runway do that, but like outside of ballroom or outside of the runway or even at the balls, just be a nice person and you will be appreciated. Like, I feel like I kind of combine those two. I hope like people can see it or something.
Oh, baby.
She's a complete fucking bitch. I met her one time and she gave me the nastiest look.
You know, like I feel like if you really like eat it on the runway and you're also a nice person and like being friendly with people, I feel like that's the way like people should be. Of course you can be bitchy sometimes, you can have an attitude, you can have a bad day, but like just try to be a human. There might be some people going through some stuff. Also like queer
know
people,
your boundaries with people.
Yes, like queer people, like they can have a lot of trauma because you know, life is not always easy on us. So you need to be kind of mindful of, there's like people that can be going through stuff, and with your attitude you can even like make the space really like unwelcoming for them, you know. So be a nice person, work on your craft, and be humble.
Period.
I feel like that's my
so it's
approach.
So it's almost like when you get on that runway, you have to put on your performance immediately, and it's almost exactly. And out of that, of course, be a nice fucking person. What the hell? Like, yes. Thank you for that. Oh my god. No, yeah, exactly. So ballroom is really fascinating because obviously I feel like a lot of us got like the first exposure to ballroom. I don't know, I'm speaking for like the mainstream because I'm obviously haven't done that much research as these two here, but like for example when Pose came out, I feel like that was a very mainstream media that people consumed and found out what
Exactly. That was one of the first like big things on a big TV screen that happened, and that was well curated, and that was, you know, big.
It was huge. And it's like these stories about these black trans women navigating their lives, and you know, I had never seen that. You know, that was like my first exposure to like ballroom culture.
That's a really nice beginning, though.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I wish I also had an opportunity to just like, you know, through, for example, Pose series or something.
Right.
It's really nice. I'm really glad that we have it now.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. I mean, Ryan Murphy is like has his own.
Him, though?
Like, I think he's a little problematic sometimes, but like that one was, I think.
Then fuck him. Like, but like the fact is that the stories that need to be told finally were told.
Exactly.
And honestly, that's what I care about.
Period. And yeah, so that was my first exposure. And then like I was like, this is fun, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this without being like, I'm stealing your thing and just making it mine, you know? But then I found like these voguing classes that saved my life. No, literally. No, but then I realized that there's a very easy way that you can be respectfully appreciating this beautiful culture. Know your history, know where you are, be aware of the space you're taking and the space you're giving, and then just have fun and enjoy this beautiful culture. And of course, like, we don't want to speak over anyone, so obviously correct us if we have said something inappropriate. Yeah, but yeah, it was really go ahead, you want to say something? Let me say it. Let me finish. But yes. But when I started coming to the voguing classes that you guys do, it was great to learn the actual craft as well, not just like watching the culture and how detailed and professional it is. It's not just something that people say, oh, that's not a real dance style or something. No, like this has.
People say that.
I feel like people don't take it seriously sometimes. Where maybe perhaps you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think have you ever had this impression? I feel like every time like I bring up that I can Vogue, everybody is like, oh wow. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I never really
interesting.
encountered like disrespect.
Yeah, I
based
know.
on that.
In the sense that like when you say, oh, I do ballet, or oh, I do like things like that, you know, there's like voguing is seen as something that's like more casual.
Bench.
Yeah, or
Something from the street.
yeah, exactly, or like not treated with the same amount of respect and not given
Maybe.
the
Maybe.
you know, because you're like, oh, I do ballet, wow, you must do it in the theater in a big hall, but then you do, but I guess
it lies more in the fact that people are not like really, they don't know what it is. They're not properly, they don't have a knowledge of what it is and how it looks like in real life and not on Drag Race or whatever.
Yeah, it's true. I just want to add, like, of course, people don't know like what comes down when you're voguing, but honestly, when you actually like really think about voguing, it's just like, if we talk about Vogue Femme, for example, we have like these 5 like, you know, elements that's kind of like makes the structure of the dance. But honestly, the whole time we're like doing a freestyle.
Wow,
it's
yeah.
coming from within, from your emotions, from your what you're feeling and everything. So like, if you really like know how to Vogue and you actually like, you know, you're telling actual story, like it's really like hard to get there. Like, and sometimes there are days where I cannot like tell a story. There are some days like where I'm really feeling it and eating it, in my opinion. But like, if you really think about it, like voguing is so difficult and like complex, you know?
It's improvisation, right?
Yes.
It's on the spot.
Always.
So you have to keep your brain ready to like, what's my next move? You know, there's no choreography. There's no like script, right? Me talking as if.
No script.
No script, baby. Let me tell you about voguing now. But as these girls will tell you that like it's like on the spot, improvise.
Absolutely.
So it's difficult. You have to keep on your toes.
I feel like it's quite paradoxal a little bit because I completely agree that voguing is like, it is very complicated. Like it's not easy to learn it. It's not easy to make it look like it looks like voguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you think about it, there are literally like 5 different moves. That's it.
Right.
5 elements of Vogue are 5 different moves.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
And then and I feel like this is like the beautiful part of it is that it's so simple that you don't have other option other than these 5 moves. So you have to play with them to the point when it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Every single bitch is using 5 same moves, but every performance looks different unique. Oh, not every.
Woo!
You know.
What she said?
Let's be real for a little bit. Just for 1 second.
Ooh.
But this is the ultimate goal.
Yeah. No, it's just that's why, because like you can mix and match however you want, right? Or is that correct?
Yeah.
No, exactly. Wow, thank you such a good little course introduction to ballroom, without speaking over anyone, without taking space from anybody else. And wow, thank you. So moving on, we do a little segment on this podcast, and it's called Album of the Month. And usually I do it with my good sister Devin, but she's not here with us today. Devin, we're sending love if you're watching. And so we do this segment because on this podcast we love music, and we're girls who grew up on music, and we just love having music in our lives. So the segment is called Album of the Month, and could you let's get a soundboard.
You should have a
No,
jingle for that.
no, that's what I'm
serious.
saying. Like, let's get a soundboard going. Like, I need like a soundboard. Street manager, excuse me, can we get a soundboard? No, I would I would
This
love
will be
it.
the second time somebody is asking for a manager for yourself. Today.
I would just have to like play little sounds, just like that, like
A little crash.
yeah, exactly. Ooh, like that would be a sound I would put on there. We do album of the month. So, is there an album this month that really spoke to you, that you really had on repeat, and you were like, oh baby, I'm listening to this when I'm showering, I'm listening to this when I'm washing my face, when I'm going to sleep? What is that for you today? Let's go. This month, sorry. Let's go. Today. Yeah.
For me, it would be Joke Enough by OK Lou. I don't know if you know her. Like, she's
No,
kind of
not
underrated,
familiar.
in my
Okay.
opinion. Like, the album has been out from like February, I think, but I'm still like blasting it. I love her so much.
Wow, okay.
I discovered her like last year, and when I was on my Erasmus in the Netherlands, I really like fell in love with her there. I was like blasting her when I was on the bike, with my
Yeah.
AirPods in.
The
I was-
bike.
No
Yeah.
shade.
Okay, she's real Dutch. The full Netherlands fantasy.
Yeah, and like when she
Dutch
like
fantasy.
released the whole album, I was like, oh my god, like her music is so
Yeah.
specific,
What's
and
the
it's
genre? Like,
it's like I cannot really explain it, but like
Mm.
I really like to listen to like ambient music,
yes,
and
okay,
her
yes.
music is kind of giving like this like mix of ambient music and like
Mhm.
pop, and it's like very kind of also experimental.
Oh.
So yeah, I love you, okay Lou. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
diva.
Okay, Lulu, if you're watching, you're welcome to come on our podcast any day, anytime. But yes, well, okay, thank you. I might play that. I might
You
play
should,
that
you
later when I
should, you
go
should.
home. Okay, Lana.
You're
Let's
gonna
go
judge
with
me so
you.
hard for this
Oh
one.
no judgment. We listen and we don't judge.
That's so not true.
We listen and we judge in private, not in
Yes, we're judging silently. We're not saying it to anybody's face.
with our face.
Not on camera, at least. I kind of was blasting a little bit of ultraviolence lately.
Okay.
I was feeling sad and sexy. I'm sorry, like
Period. Miss Lana.
that's how I am.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Period.
Sometimes I'm sexy, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm both.
Hey, what the hell? Can a girl fucking listen to ultraviolence in peace?
Well,
Can a girl have a hobby?
I'm screaming.
Because that album is like, has
it's not the it's not
it's not
the
PC, but it's good.
yeah. I mean, it's doing the job sometimes.
exactly.
For me, at least.
Yeah, we don't. This podcast does not condone domestic violence or romantification. Just a little message. Oh my god, thank you. Okay, do you want to know what my album of the month is?
I wanna know.
Yeah.
I wanna know.
How bad?
So bad.
So bad.
Okay, my album of the month is actually Capri Songs by FKA Twigs.
Ooh,
And this is like an
okay.
album that she made. It has the songs, I don't know if you know, Oh My Love. It has The Weeknd on it. It's actually kind of like has like this R&B feel, but it's also at the same time like obviously electronic. And I'm trying to listen to FKA Twigs because she's coming to Prague soon.
Maybe.
Hopefully she'll come and not cancel.
FKA. What's up?
Twigs. Are we Twiglets?
We know you love Ankali so much, so
Exactly. Are we twiglets? Are we twiglets? Y'all familiar with her work?
I am.
A little bit.
Yeah, I
little
wouldn't say I
bit.
like know her
Yeah.
through and through, but like I listened to her new
Same.
album and stuff. You know.
Okay, yes. You like sua. You like sua.
Yes.
No, I'm really excited for her to come. If hopefully she don't reschedule or cancel. You know, I'm watching, because it was rescheduled to 31st of May,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. And I'm listening to her discography, and I'm listening to Capri Songs. And Capri Songs is just such a good album. And like, oh my love, I love that song, and Tears in the Club with The Weeknd. Yeah, Tears in the Club.
Yeah, I actually know that one.
Cause your love got me fucked up. Yes. It's just such a good album. Listen to it. I'm listening to it on repeat this month. I've had it on repeat. So that's my album of the month. And thank you. Yeah, of course. And we're gonna do our last segments, our shout outs, people we love, events we love. And that's how we're closing this episode. So I want to shout out, first of all, Shala Radio. Yes, thank you. Tune in.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
shout out.
Yes, thank you for hosting us, Three
No
Queens.
shade.
Yes, Shala. And there's gonna be a program even after we leave. So please don't turn that computer off. Keep it up. Keep Shala Radio playing. And I want to obviously shout out my good sister Devin. She's not here with me today, but she is in our minds and spirits.
How do you do it? Devin.
And I want to shout out Pangea.
Right.
Yes, we'll get to that. And I want to shout out Prague for Palestine. We always
Yes.
keep Palestine in our minds and hearts, and never is it the time to stop talking about Palestine. Things
Exactly.
are only escalating,
Yes.
so please focus on Palestine. I want to thank Yusuf, my stream manager. And yeah, that's my shout outs for I want to shout out a really fun party that's happening this weekend, Extravaganza.
Literally tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow is happening. Please come to Planeta Za and Pluto to see Ankali, see your best favorite drag performers. Fifi Pharaonic is performing tomorrow.
Yes. No, honestly,
Yes.
Extravaganza is such a good party.
Yes, please
And now
do
paired
come.
with a queerity show, like, excuse me.
Oh my God.
Like-
That's
right.
vibe crossover.
Like, who is ready for that?
Baby,
Who is ready for?
I am not ready. You must come and experience it yourself. Queer ID and Extravaganza.
For real.
Fifi is performing. God, my mind is blanking. Who else is performing?
Y'all know what? Y'all come and find out.
Come and find out.
Yeah,
No
Come and find out.
spoilers.
Pay that fee.
Exactly. And the set's
It's
been
about the girls.
decorated really well.
Sure. Like, I don't know about it. That's why.
Yes, exactly. No spoilers.
Okay.
Okay. Your shout outs. Anyone you want to shout out?
Yes. So, as y'all know, I recently became a part of the elite Kiki House of Bodega when I was in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Bodega.
New Bottega.
Heavy on the beat.
Bodega.
So I want to give shout outs to my Dutch bodegas. I love you. I miss you so much. Shout out to my sisters. Shout out to Karim.
Yes.
Shout out to Lulu, Jordi, Michael. I love you and miss you so much. I also want to give shout outs to my girls in Vienna, to my sister Barbara 007. I love you so much, sister. I've been there recently. I visited them. And shout outs to Kian, shout outs to Edgy and other fab people there. I miss y'all too. And yeah, shout outs to the people in Hungary as well. Oh my God, I love them so much. I haven't been there in a while. And also,
Shout out to queer people in Hungary.
yes,
Oh my God.
like
what's
they
going
are
on there?
going through some stuff, you know. Also keep Hungary in your minds, you know. I see them always protesting, participating in the protests, and you know, really wanting to do best for their country. So shout outs to them as well. And shout outs to the dolls, no shade.
Shout out
Like,
to the
shout outs
Yes.
to all the dolls. Yes,
Yes.
we love the
Period.
dolls.
We love the dolls. Protect the dolls.
Protect the dolls. Yes.
Period. No, that's not the t-shirt. Okay,
Yes.
Lana.
Those were
That
really
was a-
nice
yeah,
shout,
those are,
shout
like,
outs. Very
Poignant,
thoughtful.
like to the point.
loved
Like,
it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who am I gonna shout out? Well, let's shout out Pangea once again.
Yes.
because Pangaea is doing some work, and it's lovely, it's important, it's nice. And yeah, speaking of Pangaea, we're working on queer speed dating. That's gonna happen in 2 weeks. So stay tuned. We're posting tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be a post. So yes, join the speed dating, please, 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 in Prague, queer speed dating, mind you. Okay. Shout out to whom? Shout out to all my kids. I love you all. Come to our classes.
Shout out to their classes. No.
Shout out to our classes.
Come on, plug it. Every Sunday.
Every Sunday. And also on Saturday, there's going to be a community session organized by the people in the Prague ballroom scene. There's a free entry. So if you want to practice with the people that have been like in the game for some time,
Face, yeah.
And meet the community a little bit.
Meet the community,
a little kiki, chat, vibe, whatever.
2 hours of like good times and practice. So please come. You can find it on our profiles.
And shout out to Isabella for organizing it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be real for a little bit, okay?
Thank you.
Yes. Also.
Isabella. Bellissima.
What language is that?
I'm mixing Italian.
Italian.
I'm mixing Italian.
Italian scent.
You know what? Bella. Bella ciao.
Shout out to my sister Sabrina, Velvet, and Tishi. And I love you, sister, so much. And we're going to meet next week because we are preparing something. Speaking of ballroom, bitch.
Clutching my pearls.
Speaking of something is going on, something is going to happen in Prague. So it's not out yet, but it's going to be out soon. We're preparing a little mini ball in Prague in September. So stay tuned. September is going to be fire.
Oh, I'm so
Also,
excited.
there is another ballroom-related event. There is a Kiki ball that is going to be... I hope I'm in position to say that. Manina, I'm sorry if I shouldn't have, but now it's out. So I also low-key was talking to people about this anyway. So everybody knows.
This is a
Yeah.
1,000%.
So now you have to do it.
This is 1,000% exclusive.
Yeah, so now you have to do it. So
Yeah.
there will be a Kiki ball
Yeah.
in August,
Yeah.
and we're excited for that as well.
Period.
Shout out to all ballroom people around the world, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to ballroom culture. Yes.
And one last shout out to Edgy. Appreciate you and love you and miss you so much.
Yes, we love you.
Okay. I want to do one final shout out. I'm doing a flag making workshop. I will be a master seamstress 14th of May. I'll be coming there with my sewing machine and I will be teaching you how to
I'll be
sew
there.
them damn flags. Yes.
To
it's
teach
a-
the girls.
There.
So come
So,
show up for Palestine. We're going to be sewing some flags and just I'll be your seamstress. So why would you not want to show up? Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on. Don't you want
Do
to?
you really want to miss out? I don't think you
I
want to
don't
miss
think
out.
so.
come on now.
But that was it for this episode of 1,000% with lovely guests Lana and Isabella. And
And with our beautiful host, Moiz.
Moiz, no shade.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
of
you for the
course, it was so good
invitation.
to have
Thank
you
you.
guys. It was so good to what'd you call me? So good to have you girls. And
I said, thank you, girl.
but that's it for the podcast. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us yap about everything. And this is our goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.